Chucky Kobe back with more basic instructions. You know, I was relaxing last weekend, just lying on the couch with my wife, and we got into a really deep discussion about our home life and the future we're building. So Alicia was telling me, it's 2021, and look around at what's going on in the world today. The stories in the media, the conflicts that are at the forefront of everyone's minds. And then there's this narrative that's got everyone charged up and feeling, regret about the past and fear for the future. Now, I don't know about you, babe, but where we're at right now, I am definitely not feeling this vibe. And as I'm listening to her, I'm right there with her. It makes me think about what I desire the attitude of our children to be and the emotional vibration of how life feels for our family at home. I had to take a step back and think about how before the time that we're living in now, when we didn't have electric cars and a helicopter on Mars, back before we had Google, Siri, and Alexa to give us all the answers to everything, right? Back then, they seemed to be better off than we are today in a lot of ways. And so it brings to mind for me how a lot of ancient cultures seem to know how to live a happy and successful human experience. Started thinking about the strategies that they used back then to make sure that the important principles of success, what they believed, are the basic instructions of a happy society, and how they made sure that the basic instructions were always simply common knowledge for their people, just a standard part of life for their tribe or clan. Back then, the most important information about human life was kept alive from generation to generation through spoken word and artistic expressions. Makes me think about ancient practices like Aboriginal corroboree, Egyptian hieroglyphics, or my favorite, Hawaiian chanting. Then out of nowhere, my mentor the other day sent me this message that reminded me of what we can learn from history of those simpler times. Like Captain James Cook of the British Royal Navy. He was the first Westerner to come in contact with the Hawaiian people back in 1778. His men and the missionaries that followed kept journals of their experience, and many wrote a vivid description of the state of being of the people who lived there. They illustrated the Hawaiian natives as being almost entirely devoid of any physical or mental disease. No one was depressed, no one felt anxiety, no one dissatisfied with their life. Everyone was what the Hawaiians called Pono. They had this balanced relationship with themselves inside, in their minds and hearts, and an equally harmonious bond with the world they lived in and everyone in it. Doesn't that sound just incredible? It almost makes me wish I lived there right now. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, well, duh, they lived in Hawaii. Just think about it. For me, just the weather, that eternal summer alone would make me feel glad to be alive. We're in Hawaii, are we not? Yeah. But living in paradise helps. It doesn't explain the lower, almost non-existent incidence of mental illness or emotional stress. And you're probably wondering, how's that even possible? The reason why everyone feels so Pono is a lot simpler than you'd think. This general state of contentment is all about how the Hawaiians approached what we today call mental health. It's the way they use their inherent capabilities, the way they use their human minds, how they thought and what they believed in Hawaii hundreds and thousands of years ago. That's what created this utopia-like dynamic. And what really locked in that Pono attitude into their minds was that deep down, they all shared a belief and understanding of empowerment. The way I always explain this to clients is think of empowerment as a feeling, a deep confidence and belief that I am in control of my happiness and success in my life. The Hawaiians' level of faith in this belief is something that all people have the ability to adopt in their own lives today in the 21st century. Let me go deeper with an example. Think about it like this. We all pretty much believe with 99.9% confidence that the sun will come up tomorrow. There may be a very slim chance that it won't. And all things being equal, we tend to go to sleep at night knowing that it will. Better yet, we don't even think about it before going to bed because the belief is so deeply embedded. It's just a fact to me that it will come up. Am I right? Consider this question for a moment, because I'm asking myself. What if I applied that kind of certainty that I have in tomorrow's sunrise? What if I applied that kind of faith to my life? Imagine if I had the same kind of belief about my ability to create the desired positive changes I want in my relationships. Same belief in my ability to achieve my most ambitious goals in my career or business. To maintain my health and my energy. I mean, imagine being this certain in my ability to strengthen my connection with the people that mean the most to me. I mean, wow, I would feel totally empowered with that kind of belief. In ancient times in Hawaii, this concept of empowerment, it didn't even need to be taught because it was known and commonly accepted. And clearly, that's not where we're at as a planet right now. So let me share a bit of irony that Alicia gave me the other day. She said, Hawaii's part of the United States now, isn't it? So if you ask me, it is time for America to be great again. Great like it was back then. Or as my comrade Rick Eli would say, it's 2021. It's time for the world to get back to living Pono. Success is simple if you know these basic instructions.